45 is at it again by shifting arguments, and he desperately wants a swift dismissal of the impeachment charges, which doesn't work that way. Coming out of Washington, 45 on Sunday injected fresh instability into final preparations for the Senate's impeachment trial, suggesting that senators should dismiss the House's charges of high crimes and misdemeanors against him outright rather than dignifying them with a full tribunal. That unexpected statement, arriving amid a flurry of tweets, not only appeared to put the squatter at odds with the Republican Senate leaders moving toward a full trial, but also contradicted 45's own words from just hours earlier when he argued for a trial that would include a witness Democrat that would include as witnesses Democratic House leaders who were prosecuting him. Many believe that by the Senate giving credence to a trial based on the no evidence, no crime, read the transcripts, no price for impeachment hoax rather than outright dismissal, it gives the partisan. This is what 45 had tweeted. Technically, there is evidence. There are crimes. There was pressure on the Ukrainian squatter. I mean, the Ukrainian president when he and the impeachment wasn't a hoax. They already determined that it wasn't, and they already determined it wasn't a witch hunt either. It was the latest instance of the squatter publicly facilitating between his apparent desire to make the charges disappear and move on with his squadancy and to participate in an extended spectacle in the Senate that would turn the tables and put his critics on trial. As the subject of the charges on trial, 45 has no direct say over how the Senate proceeds, and by all accounts, Republicans do not have the votes needed to dismiss the case, as 45 suggested, at least not before hearing open arguments. But the remarks could put lawmakers from his party in a difficult position in the weeks ahead if they have to justify to constituents that are loyal to the squatter why they are even given a hearing to a case he derides as a sham. And the zigzagging underscored the challenge facing 45's defense team and the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky as they tried to navigate competing interests just days before the trial is to begin. Mitch McConnell has said he intends to run a trial similar to the 1999 impeachment proceeding against Bill Clinton, who was then President Bill Clinton, meaning both House prosecutors and 45's defense team will be given a chance to present their arguments. 45's running impeachment commentary came on a day when much of Washington was busy preparing for the trial, only the third such proceeding in American history. Speaker Nancy Pelosi has said that the House will send the 2 articles of impeachment charging 45 with abuse of power and obstruction of Congress sometime this week, with the trial commencing as soon as Wednesday. Appearing Sunday on ABC's This Week before 45's tweet, Nancy Pelosi warned senators considering foregoing a full trial that dismissing is a cover-up, and asserted that whatever the outcome, the trial could never erase the stain of impeachment from 45's record. Even as the Speaker expressed optimism that the House's 3-month impeachment inquiry had collected enough evidence to win a conviction on its 2 charges, she implicitly acknowledged the difficulty Democrats would have in doing so, and she warned that the Senate proceeding might be a little more than a cover-up if Republican senators did not agree to summon new witnesses and documents that 45 blocked from the House. We have confidence in our case that this is impeachable and this squatter is impeached for life regardless of any gamesmanship on the part of Mitch McConnell, the Speaker said, referring to Mitch McConnell. The House impeached 45 last month on 2 counts related to what Democrats concluded was a campaign by the squatter to pressure Ukraine into investigating his domestic political rivals, including withholding as leverage a White House meeting and nearly $400 million in vital military aid from the country. There's nothing, Pelosi said, the Senate can do that can never erase that. The comments appeared to be an acknowledgement that given the highly polarized state of the nation and the Senate, there was little chance that the 2/3 of senators needed for conviction and removal would agree to do so. They also foreshadowed a likely election year victory by Democrats who were prepared to argue that voters should serve as an appeals court on 45's fitness for office. They take an oath to have a fair trial, and we think that would be with witnesses and documentation, Pelosi said. Now the ball is in their court to either do that or pay the price for not doing it. Before he called for dismissal of the case, 45 appeared to be piqued by Pelosi. He suggested on Twitter questions for Pelosi to answer on air and later respond to her statements about his legacy. Why would I have the stigma of impeachment attached to my name when I did nothing wrong? Technically, you did do stuff wrong. You committed crimes out in the open. You lie daily. And I said, and this is something that people are not going to be thrilled about. In other posts, 45 repeated familiar attacks on the Speaker and Representative Adam Schiff of California. who's a Democrat and a House Intelligence Committee chairman who oversaw the impeachment inquiry in the House and is likely to lead the prosecution in the Senate. Both Pelosi and Schiff, he said, have ought to be witnesses during the impeachment trial, a common argument among Republicans who believe the two lawmakers have mishandled their duties in their conduct of the impeachment inquiry. Congressional Republicans close to 45 also pounced on the Speaker's prediction, arguing that it betrayed the Democratic true motivation throughout the impeachment process to build any case to slime 45's re-election campaign before the November election. Remember this: next time they try to pretend they were prayerfully or reluctantly impeaching 45, they weren't. Representative Mark Meadows, Republican of North Carolina, wrote on Twitter, "It was all about trying to politically damage the squatter. We don't have to damage the squatter anyway. He's already damaging himself and all his lies and crimes." 45 unexpectedly withheld the articles. Pelosi unexpectedly withheld the articles in a bid to increase pressure on Republican senators to commit to calling witnesses without one. Democrats privately concede they have no shot of even coming close to a conviction. Though she relented without winning any commitments from Republicans, the Speaker argued on Sunday that she had succeeded in showing the public the need for witnesses. Republican senators have already challenged the speed and exhaustiveness of the House's inquiry and question about the strength of the evidence it gathered and witnesses it did not secure is likely to be front and center as the trial gets underway. Under the rules, Mitch McConnell intends to adopt. Senators will eventually be able to vote on whether to call witnesses or other evidence, but there is no guarantee they will do so. Mitch McConnell has made it clear that he wants a narrow and speedy trial, and that he does not foresee any chance of conviction. It would only take 4 Republican senators to break ranks and join Democrats to secure the majority needed to compel the new testimony, even that may not be a guarantee. "I don't expect anything, but I don't think it's impossible," said Senator Michael Bennet of Colorado, who is seeking the Democratic presidential nomination to take on 45 this fall, when asked about possible Republican defections. The most animated witness may be over John Bolton, the former White House National Security Advisor, who said last week that he'd be willing to testify if called by the Senate, and even if the White House ordered him not to. Other impeachment witnesses and people close to him say that Bolton was deeply alarmed by 45's actions toward Ukraine, and as one of his top aides has relevant first-hand information to share with lawmakers. Pelosi said on Sunday that she had not excluded the possibility that the House could subpoena Bolton to testify, but indicated that it was the Senate's responsibility for now, and Schiff agreed, saying that there was little sense in bringing Bolton into the House right now.